Good afternoon, I'm Jack Cochran with all your latest news from Staffs Live. The headlines at 3. Stoke Shopping Centre row as traders fear business slump while lifts are put out of action. Peter Crouch ends a 7-year stay with Potters for a return to the Premier League. And good golly Miss Molly as Staffordshire University student is nominated by the Times for Major Press Award. Shoppers have slammed into Pottery Centre after it was revealed that the lifts are going to be out of action for 7 months. Those hit hardest by this will be wheelchair users and parents with pushchairs. Charlotte York has more.
We all use shopping centres, but have you ever stopped to think about how some people would cope without a lift? Into Potteries have closed their lifts for 7 months for refurbishments. This change will affect some shoppers dramatically more than others.
It's just going to be a struggle, especially getting outside, because we've had to come out in the cold now to go all the way down. And if we forget anything, especially when we've got to go back up to the other one, and especially having 2 kids as well, when one goes one way, it's hard to keep them both in control as well as.
There has been a promise of bigger and better lifts and quicker lifts. Do you think it's worth the 7 months?
No, I think they should just make it clear that people who don't actually need to use the lift should use the escalators. That's what they're there for. But it seems that people are rude and they wouldn't let a pushchair go before themselves, even if they don't need to use a lift.
I believe that people that are, wheelchair bound, that people are coming to shop like as we go to Manchester. But no, I think it's going to affect the people like families, younger children and those who are disabled.
The Potteries have commented that the new lifts will be faster and larger. They went on to say that shoppers will need to use stairs and escalators in the meantime.
Last weekend saw Holocaust Memorial Day, where people from around the world gathered to remember those who perished in concentration camps during World War II. Here at Staffordshire University, an exhibition has been put together to mark this important date. Gabby Sutton reports.
Holocaust Memorial Day is held each year to honour those who perished in Hitler's genocide. A photographic exhibition on the Staffordshire University campus has been set up to show that many people from different walks of life died in the concentration camps. The disabled, the gay community and gypsies were just some of the sections of society who were killed alongside millions of Jews.
The Nazis posed as moral crusaders who wanted to stamp out the vice of homosexuality from Germany in order to help win the racial struggle.
This week, a survey was published by the Holocaust Educational Trust, which said 1 in 20 people in the UK deny it happened. Liz Barnes, who is Vice-Chancellor of the university, has visited the Auschwitz Memorial site and says that we must keep the memory alive in people's minds.
Yesterday, in the Independent newspaper, there was an article about universities. I don't know whether you'll have heard about the denial of the Holocaust. There are people out there who say this is a figment of our imagination. It's a storybook. It never happened. Well, I've been and seen the evidence. I'm pretty convinced it's happened. We don't need convincing.
And over the week, it has attracted hundreds of people, including local schools.
With less than 2 months to go until Britain is set to leave the European Union, our reporter Joe Williams is taking an in-depth look into the situation the UK finds itself in.
Whether you live out in the rural countryside or in and around the city centre, Brexit has been and will continue to affect everyone within the UK as this process continues over the weeks ahead. On the 23rd of June in 2016, the referendum within the UK witnessed more than 30 million of the population vote, with an outcome of 51.9% of voters choosing to leave, in comparison to the 48.1% who voted to remain within the European Union. But what do those voters now think about the current landscape of how Brexit is heading And do they have any concerns looking ahead?
The country can survive after Brexit, but how well it will survive in the short term is what concerns a lot of people.
Our big pull was we were the doorway to Europe. And we're closing that door, so we're not going to be very popular with other countries wanting to come here because we're not going to go anywhere else.
On Tuesday, MPs came together to propose new amendments for Theresa May as she attempts to avoid a no-deal situation with the EU. The House of Commons debated and voted on elements such as the border within Ireland. This has been the breaking point for many Tory MPs and members of Northern Ireland's Democratic Unionist Party. Although not binding in government, these amendments propose stacks the political pressure on May, who says she will return to Brussels to reopen negotiations. But what does that mean looking ahead? Well, the UK is set to leave the European Union on the 29th of March on a Friday. However, Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt has suggested that this could be delayed if a deal is made. But that is a big if.
I sat down earlier to speak to Staffordshire University sports journalism student Molly Hudson, who has been nominated for Football Reporter of the Year. So, Molly, how did it feel to be nominated for the award that you've been nominated for?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think it was completely unexpected. Obviously, the Times sent off the form for me to be nominated, but I wasn't expecting to even make the shortlist. In fact, I was pretty delighted that they even thought that I was good enough to be actually nominated in the first place. So to make the shortlist was just totally unexpected yesterday morning.
I mean, what is it that you do then for the Times?
I'm the women's football reporter, so that started off with like a little column of a weekend just to do like a roundup of the league games, and then it moved on to doing some more features and like investigative stuff, usually on a Saturday, but throughout the week as well if there's any breaking news.
So is that covering games as well, or is it just solely on you?
Yeah, I normally try and get to a game kind of like every week, and then also, you know, try and cover any moves. Obviously, it's a transfer window at the moment, so things like that.
Obviously, you've been nominated alongside some absolutely massive names in football journalism. How does it feel to be on sort of the same list as those at your age?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, especially like people like Henry Winter, who obviously I've met from working at the Times, you know, and I look at those people's writing and I still admire it and try and copy the kind of things that they do. So the fact that I'm considered on a par with them by the judges is something that I definitely never expected.
I mean, alongside that, obviously, the fact that the Times, a huge national newspaper, is nominated, that must be, again, a massive achievement personally.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, just working for them in itself is an honour, so the fact that I've been nominated and then also made the shortlist is just incredible, and yeah, it's completely unexpected for me.
Especially with you obviously still being at university here at Staffs as well.
Yeah, it is difficult to balance at times, but I think both ends of that, so the uni and the Times, have been really good in understanding about that, so yeah, it definitely helps.
So following your graduation, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to continue in the same thread that you're working on now, or moving on up?
I'm hoping to continue being freelance because I do other bits and bobs for The Independent and BBC Sport, so I'm hoping to try and balance all those plates and continue doing that, really.
After a lengthy forecast of the threat of snow, it's now finally arrived, so keeping warm is more important than ever. Our reporter Fahad Tariq has the latest on what you need in your winter wardrobe.
Is your winter wardrobe looking dull? Are you tired of wearing the same old chinos day after day? Well, you no longer need to worry because we are here to take care of your fashion needs. With temperatures dropping, having a decent coat is essential. A long-line puff coat is perfect. It might make you look like you've put on a few pounds, but they are super warm and comfortable. Available in multiple cousin sizes, what's not to like? Another piece fresh off the catwalk are oversized scarves for snowy days where getting out of bed is near impossible. They can be worn over the head or across the shoulders and will be your safe haven this season. Chelsea boots are a key staple on the menswear scene, and it isn't a trend that is going away anytime soon. So next time you go to your wardrobe and wonder what to wear, remember, the key fashion look this season is oversized and bulky. Back to you, Jack.
Thanks, Fahad. Over to Connor with the sport.
Starting with football, following Neil Aspin's departure at Port Vale in midweek, John Askey is the front runner for the job. Matty Perry went down earlier today to find out more.
Maybe he's going to show the forward. He's in Aspin. Chance here, Aspin shoots. Goal! Aspin has absolutely cracked it!
It has been a busy week here at Vale Park, and it's showing no signs of letting up. After 15 months in charge, Neil Aspin has stood down as manager on Wednesday afternoon, leaving his side 18th in League Two. But the question is, who will be the next manager? Well, our sources are saying that they are poised to announce the new manager on Wednesday, but in the meantime, midfielder Danny Pugh will take charge for the game against Tranmere Rovers. Despite the chaos, the players have turned up to training today as they look to prepare for their clash against Tranmere Rovers at the weekend. Matty Perry, Stats Live.
Here's Connor Shaw and Jacob Crook with all of your deadline day deals.
It was a relatively quiet end to the transfer window last night, but our local teams managed to get a few deals over the line.
We'll start at the Bet365 Stadium and with the news on Peter Crouch, who has left the club after a 7.5-year spell. He links up with Premier League side Burnley on a deal until the end of the season.
And going in the opposite direction was Welsh international striker Sam Vokes, who joins Nathan Jones' side for £7 million on a 3.5-year deal. A few outgoings for Stoke too, though, Connor.
Of course, City were looking to offload a number of fringe players and managed to ship Eric Peters off to France. The left-back signed a loan deal with Ligue 1 strugglers Amiens. Cuco Martina has failed to impress since joining on loan from Everton. He's returned to Goodison Park and joined Feyenoord until the end of the season. Tyrese Campbell also exited the Bet365 on a loan deal to Shrewsbury Town, who defeated the Potters in the FA Cup third round. And some movement down at Vale Park as well yesterday, Jacob.
And without a manager too. After Neil Aspin's departure on Wednesday, Vale managed to secure 4 deadline day signings, 3 on loan deals. Toby Edson made the move across from the A50 from Nottingham Forest, while Callum Whelan joins for Manchester United. And Cole Howkins returns to Vale Park for a second spell. And 1 permanent transfer too.
Yeah, and it's a move across the Staffordshire Moorlands. Former Liverpool under-23s winger Daniel Trickett-Smith has penned a 2-year deal with Port Vale from Leek Town, and he returns to Harrison Park on loan until the end of the current campaign.
That's all for transfers between now and the summer, where I'm sure it'll be as hectic as ever.
Stoke City are preparing to help the homeless by hosting a sleep out event tonight. This is the 4th year of the event, with organisers hoping to raise thousands of pounds. Jacob Leeks reports from a nippy Bet365 stadium.
It's a typical chilly day here down at the Bet365 stadium. Not the normal place you'd want to be spending the night. But that is exactly what hundreds of people are planning to do as they prepare to take on Stoke City's big sleep out event in a bid to raise awareness for homelessness in the city.
We support 3 local charities for this big sleep out, so it's make awareness and what it's like to be sleeping out just for one night of the year, where a lot of homeless people will actually sleep out 7 days a week. The first year we started, I mean, like 67 people take part, and this one now we're going to have over 200 people taking part.
Hunt himself will be on hand all night in the Franklin stand, and he's expecting an uncomfortable evening for those taking part.
The people here that are taking part, a lot of them will probably only get 2 to 3 hours sleep because it gets so cold anyway. And like when they wake up in the morning last year, they were saying, well, we just done this for one night, we didn't sleep. What is it like for the people on the streets that are 7 days a week?
Hunt and his team are asking people to raise £100 each to take part in the event, although they are expecting the final total to be far higher. And with temperatures set to be below freezing tonight, it will certainly be a very tough challenge. Jacob Leeks, Staffs Live.
On to boxing now, and there is a new lightweight in Stoke-on-Trent who is making a name for himself. By day, Leon Brailsford earns his corn as a barber, but in the boxing ring he hopes to put an uppercut above the rest. Sakir Uddin reports.
Me, Liam Beresford, Stoke's only fighting barber, and by day this is where Liam applies his trade, cutting hair.
I have to do my boxing around my barbering. Obviously it's like near enough a 9 till 5 job, but sometimes we're working till 7, 8 o'clock at night, so it is difficult, balancing them both together. But I suppose if you want to get anywhere, you've got to make these sacrifices and do what you've got to do.
After a hard day's work, Liam trades his scissors for a pair of boxing gloves. The lightweight trains under the watchful eye of former 2-time English champion Scott Lawton, and he believes Beresford can go all the way to becoming a British champion.
I've known him from day one, since he come through the door, and Liam is a very, very skillful fighter. doesn't give himself as much credit as he should really, because he's a lot better than he says to people. And me personally, I think he can go on to win British titles and stuff like that. But it's not me thinking that, he needs to be able to think that as well. But Liam is a very, very good fighter.
Having only had 2 fights in the professional ranks so far, Liam has sparred with some of the best in the world of boxing, with the likes of former world champions Anthony Crolla and Liam Smith, and WBA and Ring Magazine super middleweight world champion Callum Smith.
I would say one of the main turning points of my career, sparring Anthony Crolla and Liam Smith and Natasha Jonas, because it taught me that in the gym, sparring and stuff can be quite competitive, but when you go these places, you don't go in there and they're not trying to knock your head off. Like, you know, it's all that you can see how that they're learning, like they're all learning from each other.
Beresford is next out in March and hopes to be a cut above his opponent. Sakir Buddin, Staffs Live.
The weather's set to be dry but cold this weekend. That's all for now. See you next week.